Many thanks for staying with us on the conversation. And today, our focus is on improving infrastructure in public schools here in Lagos State. It's a critical factor for fostering quality education and creating an enabling learning environment. And joining us is the chairman of the Special Committee on Rehabilitation of Public Schools in Lagos State, Mr. Hakeem Smith. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Compliments of the season.
Wish you same.
You're welcome, sir. Now, with over 1,500 school projects undertaken in recent years, the Lagos State government is working tirelessly to transform public education. We'll discuss the impact of this intervention, challenges faced, and what lies ahead for public school students as per infrastructure development. So I'll begin this morning to explain, I said it before you came, that I'd like to know the role and the mandate of the Special Committee on Rehabilitation of Public Schools here in Lagos State.
Yeah, thank you very much. The Special Committee on Rehabilitation of Public Schools was inaugurated on the 4th of November 2019. Essentially, a TOR, terms of reference, was just to ensure that the public schools are put back into the state that they ought to be, because apparently we had schools that are poorly bad state.
Like the ones I went to, that was like Jack on these schools that used
so
to
some
like
of those
poultry.
ones. So, well, I think we could call it that poetry, but we still have to thank God for the vision.
Yeah.
That helped us to have those locations. We're able to get the lands for those schools. So it's up to us now to ensure that those are transformed into proper schools. So I think it's a vision, and I think I agree with the vision of the late Alhaji Lateef Jakonde to do all of that. It's very, very good, and it has helped us a lot to have more schools in different locations that if we had tried now, we never get that opportunity anymore. So going back to scripts, after inauguration on the 4th of November 2019, so basically our TOR was to go around, look at the schools, look at the state that the schools are, and try as much as possible to put them back into proper perspective, proper schools that are going to be conducive for learning. Because if you go to some of our schools at that time, you had schools that there are no windows, the roof is leaking, there are no toilet facilities, a lot of things were in a very, very bad state. So it was important for us to fix this thing. And Mr. Governor having come in as a executive governor on May 29, 2019, I deemed fit to reincorporate, inaugurate this committee, because this committee had existed before in the days of the great visionary president and then former governor Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So it had worked, and they saw it worked, but again, because of maybe policies, it was stepped down. But later on, when they felt it was necessary now, it had to be brought back, and that really, really helped. So TOR was to ensure that we go around and list some of these schools that are bad, make sure they are all fixed, rehabilitation, where that needs to be done, furnish the schools with adequate furnitures, also add schools or add additional classrooms where that deficit in classrooms, because there is a standard, what we call student classroom ratio. The next school standard is about 45, and we had schools that we had about maybe 80, 100 in some places. Some students are even hanging on the windows, some were sitting on tires and all of that. So it was very, very necessary to get this done, and that's why Mr. Governor had to inaugurate this committee to ensure that we've been charged with that responsibility to go around, look at some of these things. And I must tell you, to the glory of God, a lot has been done. A lot has been done.
All right, since your inauguration, what are the most pressing challenges that you have seen facing public schools today?
Well,
infrastructure-wise.
In fact, with deficit, like I said, the state of the schools are bad. So the challenges that we need to fix those schools. So what it has done was to ensure that they had competent people that have the responsibility of taking care of those things. So what we do, the structure is that the committee has technocrats, industry practitioners. I'm a registered quantity surveyor and project manager, and I've been in industry for about 30 years, and I also have my colleagues on the board, well-seasoned engineer, architects, and a legal guy that's also on the board. So we now have complementary civil servants, level 16, 15, the engineers, architects, quantity surveyors that helped us. So we go out, we do what I call assessments to ascertain the state of the adaptation of the schools. We now enumerate those schools. We engage contractors through the Public Procurement Agency. You know, PPA is a central agency where you have most of our contractors are domiciled. That's the agency that started with ensuring that contractors have they're competent and have the capacity. You know, because of Lagos State public funds, there must be transparency and accountability. So in order to do that, they are started with that. So we work with them in making sure that the contractors that are being on board have those capacities and competencies. Then, so when we engage contractors, we monitor the job from start to finish and to close out. So, and we've been able to do quite a number of such jobs. And I'm telling you, so for me, challenges are, well, certainly when you have to fix something, you have to go all out. You need that energy, you need that knowledge to be able to drive it, and God has helped us. Mr. Governor has also really helped, because when you say you want to do something, it's your idea, it's your creation. And he has supported us tremendously. I must commend him for that, and I'm sure the people of Lagos State are seeing the benefits, and I'm sure the impact is also being felt with respect to performance in our schools. And again, the students in schools have increased, because again, no child is left behind. So a lot of our public schools are now having a lot of influx. People are even coming from private schools back into public schools because of the quality of infrastructure in public schools. Some public schools, our public schools now, are even far better than some of the private schools. I can tell you that for free. If you go around, you see what we are talking about. Thank you. Okay.
While off one of our colleagues, you know, Ajibola asked that, you know, we've not seen most of the containerized schools. I'd like you to talk about, you know, the other ones. I know about Vetland, but you mentioned others. I'd like you to mention the other ones. But I heard you say Obanikoro. Because I went to school in Obanikoro.
Yeah, it's going on there.
So we'd like to know the other locations where these containerized schools, you know, are right now.
Okay, so let me give a bit of a background. Using containers is a method of construction. The concept is not containerized school. The concept is IT-driven schools. IT. Okay. Information technology-driven schools. So, but you see, I need to clarify this. What we had presently, or most of our schools, these markers and whiteboards are what we're using currently. By the teachers, students are seated, we have our notes, take our notes, and that's how learning is being communicated as we speak now, most of our schools. But with technology, and particularly when COVID happened, we need to be able to learn even without being in the physical space. So that's why with IT, so there's something we call interactive screens. Those screens, they actually interact with your laptops and our phones. So even if you are not in that space, if you have data, you can actually link up to what's happening in the classroom remotely. So that's the idea. It's an IT-driven school. So I need to understand, because I mean, being
and can
a
only
modular,
achieve that with a
No, that's why I said I need to explain to you. It does not necessarily have to be container.
You could even
put exactly. You could even put it here. You get my point? So that container is just a type of construction, a methodology which we brought in because we wanted to bring in the issue of reusability of materials. Now that's why recently containers are being used for ATM centers, hospitals, even offices, houses. So we could also use it for schools. You get it? Because you have to, all you need to just insulate them and make sure that they are very, very good.
Focus is not the
it's not the container. Because even in this your building, we can have the IT-driven school. Basically, interactive screens are there. Students have their tablets with their phones. As the teacher is teaching, they're having it on their phone. They don't need to make notes. So there is communication between the screen and the iPad or your phone. And that's what we are trying to say here. So it's faster, and you could actually learn remotely. It doesn't have to be when you are within the space.
Physical,
yeah. So that's the idea. So going back to what your colleague was saying, we finished Vetland. Vetland was well celebrated. It was the first in the whole of West Africa. None of that had happened in the whole of West Africa. Now, so we are doing some other ones now. So we had a delay because we are trying to rejig the design, because what we had there was a particular design. So we are trying to see how can we have more efficient and a building that had better space, less the kind of what I call efficiency. In design, there's something I call efficiency. The ratio of efficiency of the building, it's very, very important. So the design we have now is more efficient. The ratio of usable space and the common spaces, there's a ratio that works, because there's no point having so much common areas, when the actual usable space is actually very, very small.
Very
So we are
small,
improving the
okay.
efficiency. But I mean, with due respect to you, there's loads of inefficient spaces in this complex. So I believe that definitely the government will do something about that very, very soon. So we're trying to, so with that, also because we wanted to make sure that the designs are redone, to make sure we have efficient spaces, and again, the container sizes have been adjusted a bit. So what we are coming up with is going to be, in terms of design and the look, it's going to be a bit different from what we have in Wetland, but it's going to be achieving the same thing, but more efficient and more environmental friendly. So that's what is happening. So now we're doing one at Ogba. It's going on now. It's a new school. It's Ogba. There's no school there currently. There's no senior secondary school there. It's going on in Ogba. Just down this your road further down, it's around Ogba here. Then there's one at Obanikoro currently going on now.
Wait.
Obanikoro, the school number, just go inside Obanikoro Academy. Yeah,
Okay.
it's there. Then also there's one school in Lalupon in Ikoyi off around Antiayo side, off Kefi Road.
Don't mention me my schools.
Off Kefi, you have one going on there. So that's the situation with the container. I'm sure that before the end of Q1 2025, it will be completed. We had little challenge in terms of container uses. A lot of people are now
I was going to ask about the challenges.
That's it. A lot of people are now using containers for several other things. So because of that, getting containers become out. So that's a little challenge. But definitely we'll surmount it. So what we are trying to do is to ensure that we have it in at least all the 6 education districts. At least let's start with 111. There's 6. Then later on we can now, haven't felt the advantages and the benefits, we can now escalate. But it doesn't have to be, I'm re-emphasizing, it doesn't have to be containers. There are other methodologies. It could even be concrete, wall and forms, we call it in construction. It could even slim concrete like you have in dolphins. Those are concrete panels that you assemble. You could do it. You could use any method of construction, but making sure you put IT in it is what is important.
Aside from the containers, are there other challenges that the committee has experienced, and how were you able to overcome them?
Yes, again, not with our work particularly, but again, we have issues with encroachment in our schools, because
Who is encroaching?
Encroaching and people, the public. Some people, then in those days, when our schools are created, they didn't bother putting fences in some of those schools. So, some of these people, because of the influx into Lagos, I think that's created additional pressure. So you can just realize that some people, before you know it, they can just chip off part of the school land. Before you know, if you're not careful, they start going into it. So that's the challenge, but we are addressing it head on. Mr. Governor is aware of that and is giving us instruction as per what to do about that. We've documented some of the areas we've experienced encroachment, and it's been presented to him, so he's putting together the policy to ensure that that is stopped and doesn't happen again. So I think otherwise, the only thing again is that Lagos is a big city, and there's huge influx as we speak by the day. A lot of people coming to Lagos per second. So we have population explosion. So as we're building these schools, you may not even really feel the impact of these infrastructure that's been put in place. So that's by this. So again, all that means is that we need to tailor more funding and budget towards building this, creating this infrastructure for schools. And that might be the only thing. But again, like I want to re-emphasize, Mr. Governor is really doing so well supporting this committee. Thank you.
Okay, during your construction of these schools, do you consider, people living with disabilities?
Yeah, we do. Okay, I need to let you know that disabilities are of different calibers. Physical,
like those with wheelchairs
why you're able to manage those with wheelchairs are the easiest to manage that we've been able to address.
Okay.
With other ones that had some different kind of challenge, because even the teaching aids and the needs are a bit different. But for the ones that has to use wheelchairs, most of us in the past, all they had been doing was to just have schools that you can just ramp into the ground floor. But we have also created a school in Lagos State.
I'm talking about the totality, not just getting in and out, even for the conveniences.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. Go to Ogombo Community School. We've built a school that you can access from ground to the second floor with a wheelchair. You can access all your classes with your wheelchair. You have paraplegic toilets for both male and female in that building. It was done by Lagos State in collaboration with the council.
Kudos to Lagos.
And that is done. That is the first in the whole of Nigeria. Perhaps the first in the whole of West Africa. It is there. It's not that I'm saying. If you go there, you see it.
Ogombo.
Ogombo, yeah. The community school is there.
Yeah, move around a lot. I will check.
Go see it there. It's there. See, the good thing is that we don't see what we haven't done.
Okay.
So if you go there, it is there. If it's under construction, I'll say it's under construction. That Ogombo, you see, there's a senior school beside it. It's going. That's over at the roofing stage. It's another school. You know, the junior school is not from the senior school. It is there.
All right. What measures are in place to ensure regular maintenance of this infrastructure?
Yeah, Lagos State has an agency called LASIAMA. I don't know if you've heard about that. They are in charge of the school managing of the assets of the state. So what we do is hand it over to them. So they normally, I think the model they have is to engage some facilities management companies, to pay them to manage some of the things that might get bad or fall off in the course of use. I also know that the principals also have some little bit of budget to do small things. You know, but one thing about it's just a culture. One thing about maintenance is a little bit of whatever you start dropping from. If you don't arrest it, it gets a bigger mess. Yeah. So by the time we quickly address these things, it stops the deterioration. So, and I'm sure that with the support the principals are getting, if it's just a toilet knob that is faulty, they quickly fix it before the entire door falls off. So and so on and so forth. So I think it's there. So I think again we have to reorientate as all of us. Even I think it's a culture. Yeah. It's not about schools. You know, our life generally as a people, we need to know that maintenance is very, very important. And that's why you see again, some people look younger than they because they take care of themselves. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. For your new schools that are being constructed, how many students, you know, are expected in each class? You know, because you mentioned something earlier that, you know, though we don't have it anymore in Lagos State School, is the issue of overcrowding.
Yes, please.
So when the schools are being constructed, you know, there's a number of students that are expected to be in the class. So when you design the schools, you know, how do you design the schools to now accommodate, you know, or the number of students you want, and of course, thinking about overcrowding?
Thank you. I said earlier, what we've done is when we came on board, we did some study. We realized that there's overcrowding, and again we went all out to check the overcrowding. We looked at the school designs that we have. We wanted the design that is easy access, and maintainability. Because when a school is too big, it might be a challenge with maintenance. So that's why the designs we've had now, if you've gone through some of our designs, compact, 18 classroom. Well, what have we done? We've done vertical movements, staircase to the right and to the left, toilet at the wings, large corridor spaces, the classrooms, and we have well-ventilated classrooms, 2 entrance doors to each classrooms. Each classroom seats 50 students.
50. Okay.
So what we've done again is that we've designed a furniture ergonomically friendly, because when we're young, we for instance, I know you recall that when we were young, our containers, our bag holders are usually under the desk.
Yes.
Those were not actually very, very ergonomically friendly. It kills our back. We never knew. Some of us have had back pain for 20, 30 years, and that is because of these bad postures that we've been exposed to unknowingly. We can't blame our parents. We can't blame teachers at that time. Ergonomics was never an issue when we were young. So what we've done is that we designed the furniture, a composite furniture that can sit 2, but we now put the locker spaces under the chairs. Okay. So you can actually sit in and lock yourself up. You don't have to do this, you don't have to stoop, because that kills your back. So going back to, we've done 50 students per classroom. So each of those classes have about 24 of those composite seats. The seats, again, because of the issue of availability of wood in the market. We did some survey, we did the research, we realized that if you're going to be using hardwood that we're using when we're young, I mean, unfortunately, we don't allow heavy. No, if it was heavy,
they were too heavy.
No, but then even it was heavy, but it was durable.
It was durable,
unfortunately, now we don't even allow the wood to grow. The logs, before you know it, they all fell on in our bushes, and you can't even get good seasoned wood. So we had to reinvent the design where you have hollow pipes and the HDF boards. So the design is there in some of our schools now. So that's what we use. So 50 per class. And again, so what we do, particularly, like I said, we do renovations for schools. Again, when we get some schools where we have so many, the need for additional classroom block, and there's space, we build extra block for them so as to reduce the student classroom ratio, to ensure that at least we reduce, if they had 80 before, maybe it will reduce a bit to maybe 50 or 55, as the case may be, so that at least they can be more comfortable in their classes, and that aids learning.
Okay, we've been talking about the students. So a school comprises of both the students and the teachers,
Yes,
and
please.
there must be a conducive learning and teaching environment.
Yes.
So, yeah. So what provisions are also there for the staff?
Yes, same. If you look at our designs, so we have aside from the classroom block, in the classroom block, our campus it has both classroom for the students, offices for the teachers, office for the vice principals, and also the principals. So as we are when we finish the construction, we have furniture for students, we have furniture for the principals, and also furniture for the teachers. So it's all there. So you can't give the student all the good things, and you expect the teachers that will teach them to make them uncomfortable. So they are all in our considerations that we provide for them. So for instance, now we say we build a school. We have so and so schools. Definitely in each school we have 2 vice principals and 1 principals. We have teachers, complementary teachers, and we make sure we provide furniture for all of them and the principals. So once we build, we do all of that.
Okay, our colleague over there has a question for you, Ajibola.
You can look at him.
Just look at him from the screen.
I think it was last year when your committee introduced containerized classrooms. I think it started from Agege.
Yes.
And I've not been seeing much of that again. Are we likely to see more of that? And what determines the kind of structure that you put in a particular school?
Okay. We've discussed.
He wasn't here. He wasn't here.
Yeah, I wasn't in the studio.
Yeah.
You went,
Then I want to know how far you have gone with the
We've gone
group of
far.
schools in Tolu.
No. So you have 3 questions. I'm going to take it one.
So take it one after the other.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. I have content, so I can take you on for the next 2 hours. Yeah, so for the container schools, we discussed before when you were out.
No, just talk to your
You can
camera.
talk to your
So
camera.
basically, container schools we are building in some other locations. We finished. We have in Ogba, we have in Babs Academy, and we have in Lalupon in Ikoyi. That's going on. I said before the end of quarter 1, 2025, that those schools will be completed by the grace of God. That's under that. Then you talked about the considerations for having schools, right?
Yeah.
Did I get you right?
You're
so
right.
Basically, now the way we even get to this construction phase, there are needs. We get needs requests from the schools through the Ministry of Education, because we work together, because they are the user agency, we are just an intervention agency. So we make sure that whatever they need is what we offer them. So when there's a need, it's given to us. We go for physical assessments. If it's renovation, we do an assessment for it. We come up with the schedule of dilapidation, bills of quantities, we engage in contract and monitor. When there's a need to build additional classroom block, we also, first before we go, to ascertain that there's land availability for additional classroom block, to look at how we're going to put the structures down so that we don't encumber the entire play area or the entire land in that area. So if there's an existing block in the place, we can now go there, look at the shape. So what we've done, we've built a kind of a Lego kind of a structure, whereby, so if I come to a space, that will determine the type of shape you are going to put in that premises. So we have T shape, we have the L shape, we have the I shape, then the U shape. If you go to Akinton, it's a U shape. It goes on schools, you have L shape. It goes on, you have a T shape. LMR has T.
So it's not one
So it's not
size
one size. So you need to address to ensure that whatever you deploy, the structure, it works with the
what
flow.
you meet on ground.
With the flow of the environment, so that you don't kill the recreation area. And again, technically, what we also do is to ensure that before we build any structure, we do what we call soil tests. We do a soil investigation. Lagos is a riverine area. We have to be careful so that we don't have collapse. So we do a soil test. We send our engineers there, do a soil test. They come up with a report which we analyze. That determines the kind of structure, the kind of foundation
That will be put
that
there.
we're going to put there. So that the schools are all founded on solid structure. We've had instances in so many schools that we have pile foundations. It's the most expensive type of foundation for now. I mean, compared to the raft, the pad or strips that we do. So, and if we confirm that we need to do pile, Mr. Governor would normally gives us the go ahead to do the power. We don't compromise, say, let's manage. We don't manage because structure and life is very important. That's why some of the buildings, we go and see any of our structures in the last 5 years, all the structures we built are all standing. So those are the considerations for building a school. Then we come back to Tolu Complex. I'm so passionate about it. It's what we call Tolu Education City. We want to turn it to Tolu Education. It's a community, it's a city. Because Tolu is a place, a complex is a place that it's unprecedented. We have so many first things in Lagos State.
Of course, Lagos is known for the first.
Tolu has 31 secondary schools, comprising 16 senior secondary school, 15 junior secondary school, 5 primary school. There's no school like that in all of West Africa. So when we got there, initially 2019, 2020, when we got on board, we inherited some list of projects from Ministry of Education. So we went there, which 2 blocks were in that complex. That was part of what we were supposed to do. When we got there, we saw that these 2 blocks are bad. We fixed those 2 blocks. But in the process of going to do supervision, we met with some of the principals of the school, of the other schools, and we realized that they all have challenges. The school have challenges, very, very bad, deplorable states of the structures. Toilet facilities is not there, no furniture in the classrooms. So we now said, look, there is no point treating Tolu schools in silos. Let's have a kind of a meeting, call of them, and let them enumerate their challenges. When they did, we realized that perhaps almost all of the schools needed something to be done on them. So we now decided to do a regeneration. So we went back, now do an assessment of all the schools there. Having done the assessment, we realized that we did the population census. We looked at the ratio of students to the classroom that are good there. We realized that we needed to build additional classroom blocks. We needed to put about 13 blocks. 13 times about 450 is a lot of numbers.
Wow.
As we speak today, Tolu Education City has about almost 20,000 students. It's unprecedented. And it's sitting on about maybe about 11, because there are 2 sites, about 11 hectares of land. It's big. So to the right, back to the right, to the left, there's schools, and he has a lagoon at the other end. So you come in from Popular Ajegunle, then you are to the right and to the left, and the water. So, I mean, when you see this sort of thing, I think it's an excitement for us. We felt that we don't have to treat it like just any other thing. So, Mr. Governor decided to say, let's do a regeneration of these things. Knowing the challenges they have, and saying that, well, there's no point treating these things in silos. Why not they do a total clean out? So that's how we went into it. We have about 26 existing classroom blocks that we are doing renovations. We also have the new classroom blocks that we are building. We've built 12, some are different stages of completion. I'm sure the total work in Tolu, we are about 65% completion now. I'm sure that before the end of Q2 2025, we should finish it. It has something for everybody. Now, as we speak, Tolu has the famous Barakana Stadium on the right. When we came in, we looked at our own school that is within our purview. We also decided to put like this sort of football pitch and everything. We haven't one there. So we have recreation for the students there. We have a standard pitch. We have a race track. We have 2 multipurpose courts coming into Tolu Complex. We also now have, when we realize that we want something that is comprehensive now, because comprehensive schools are quite important, we've thought about comprehensive, we talk about inclusive, at least to an extent, physically challenged people with wheelchairs. So what we've done with that is we added something for comprehensive. So we have a vocational block that we're building, about 3 levels of vocational that will be having 5 vocational courses. We now picked vocational courses that are keen of, that is easy for us. The closest market to the place is where they sell tiles, electrical materials. So we now decided, okay, the vocational courses here will be so that for ease of market to get materials, we are doing electrical, plumbing, masonry, the tilers. Because now in Lagos, we go to Kuchon to get our tilers. So if you can train students there for tiling and masonry there. Then we also have something for ladies, sewing and makeup also. So you have about 5 different vocational courses there. So when you are in the complex, if you are not good academically, after your GSS, you can go and do Even if you can even do both. Some people, they have all the knowledge and all the skills. They want to learn skills. Because a lot of us realize that after all that BSc, MSc, whatever,
certificates, we still have to,
Taylor can never go hungry if you are good.
They can never.
A caterer will never go hungry if your food is sweet.
Yes.
So all of these things, so they have their opportunity to have that. Again, in that Todo complex, we have we are partnered with some people for CSR projects. So we realize that, like I said, we have 16 senior secondary school. In each of the secondary school, we have physics, chemistry, biology. So each school has physics, chemistry, biology in 16 places. So we decided to look, why can't we have a common laboratory unit, central laboratory, what we call it, whereby instead of having all these 16 in different places, let's have a central laboratory unit, whereby the schools will key into we have, after building it, we have a laboratory for biology that can have about 200 students at once. 200 physics, chemistry, biology. So you have a block that we've proposed. Some of our partners are going to be doing that. They are not, it's a CSR period that some people are going to fund. We have it there so that at least we can now free the classrooms later on, and we have more additional classrooms in addition to what we are building for them. So, but the idea is, let's make it central. So that at least the schools will now key into, if your own biology is 9 to 10, there are laboratory technicians that are going to attend to that school. They go in, after finishing down, they can leave, and so on and so forth. So we don't have to have laboratories littering the whole blocks. We did that. Again, we also partner with some people that are going to do the High City Hub, where you can do your CBT tests. It's also a big complex we are trying to put there, so that you can have your CBT exams. At least something for everybody. Then we are preparing to also have, we've not concluded that, we are yet to have partners for that, where you have art block, whereby you can do these artworks, theater, music. That's, we have a small parcel of land for those ones there. So that when you go into the complex, that's why it's a community. There's something for everybody. That's the concept.
No one is left out.
No one is left out. Whatever skill you have, if it's soccer, you want to play, there's soccer. If you can run, everything is there for somebody. Okay. So it's an interesting. If you talk about Todo, we would never finish here today, because I don't think I finish all the things that.
I it's fast, but
okay.
Just before we go, I'd like to give us, maybe an estimate of what the state government's target for schools rehabilitation is by the end of 2025.
Well,
when I started, I said about 1,500. Schools have been rehabilitated.
We have about 1,000. I think is that 1,500 classrooms. We built about 1,926 classrooms. That is the new classroom blocks. We've also rehabilitated about 300 and something schools. So if I amplify that, we must have touched, in terms of classroom, over 4,000 classrooms. So with budget, we have to. I'm not the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning. I don't run budgets. 2025, the budget has not been passed, so it will be premature for me talking about what I don't know about. We talk about envelope until there is law. You can't say. Well, I wish Mr. Governor the best. I'm sure that he's going to give something good for us, so that we can continue this thing that he has created, and then so that we can path well at the end of the day.
All right, we thank you very much, Mr. Hakeem Smith. He is the Chairperson, Special Committee on Rehabilitation of Public Schools here in Lagos. He has shared valuable insights into the ongoing efforts to improve public schools infrastructure in Lagos. Thank you very much, Mr. Smith.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
The conversation continues. Stay with us.